guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love with those you love to do them with, guys. It is Wednesday. I've had a horrible start to the month. Had an absolutely shocking start to the month. It's all gone a little bit, horrendous for Butler. He's been under the weather. He went out on Saturday for the football. Sunday he got home. Monday he did a stream. Monday night he went to bed. Tuesday he wakes up and it's flu time. It's stay in bed. It's man flu. It's not flu, but it's man flu. Today is Wednesday. I had to crawl myself out. Just done the football ink. And today we're back on the Spurs Talk Show for a little cheeky weeky. If you don't mind, we got to talk about a thing or two, and I need to get my overlay sorted because you know why these things look. That's not it either. What are we doing here, Butler? Is that the one? Now, if I get rid of this, is that the one? That'll do. Guys, today's show is sponsored by okjersey.com. We love them over there. If you are interested, like I am, in getting together a little repertoire of replica shirts, then okjersey.com is where you can find them. The best in the game. They're better than the alternatives, if you know what I mean. And these guys are trying to go out there and compete with people that, know a thing or two about making a shirt or two. But these guys do better. okjersey.com. Football shirts start £15, give or take. A couple of pence here or there. But with Sean, the code Sean at discount, the discount code Sean at checkout gets you an extra 8% off. You can't ask fairer than that. Get yourself over to Spurs Talk Show's discount company at okjersey.com. There's the QR code. Scan it or just go to okjersey.com and stick it in. I hope you're all happy and healthy, guys. Let's get into it, shall we? Is this the best window ever? I'll be entirely honest with you. My deadline day kind of vibes was a little bit salty, if I'm entirely honest. Wasn't feeling great. Still not feeling great. Certainly not like top of the weather, top of the morning to you, if you know what I mean. But we've got to discuss it. We've got to discuss other people's takes. You've got Ali McCoy saying one thing. You've got our man Jeff Stelling saying that Tottenham smashed the window best of them all. How are we thinking? How are we feeling? Let's find out. Before we get into it, guys, smash the like button for me. If you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Very easy to do. Just rub the sub. Just rub it. Or drum the thumb whilst you're there. And if you are watching this for the first time and you haven't yet subscribed and you want to participate in the conversation, all you've got to do over there, that way even, all you've got to do is hit the subscribe button. It's free to do. Doesn't hurt anybody. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't commit you to anything. And then obviously just come into the chat and say hi. Let's discuss everything. What's going on, people? Let's find out. The one best window ever? ? Maisie Adventure says the one that looks into my neighbour's bathroom. Well, depends who your neighbour is, I guess. My neighbour's like a 65, 70-year-old man who whistles every morning, and he doesn't have that sort of frosted glass thing on the outside. Yeah, I've seen his Todger a couple of times or two. It's true what they say. Gravity takes hold. When your testicles are hanging down by your knees, you're getting old, eh? Anyway, big up to you, Maisie. Eventually, good to see you. Needed a left winger, says Grodland. Needed a left winger. We do, but maybe we have it. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I think Lookman was not the long-term player Frank wanted. Tried to get him cheap as a stopgap, couldn't, so consciously left ourselves short. Did we try to get him cheap? Listen, loans are a thing. I've been saying this to you guys for ages. It's not a Tottenham theme. This is a theme in football because you sign the player, everybody's got enough wiggle room on their FFP for a couple of million here or there. Everyone can do that. You get the player that you want if you can, and then you've got a year to then figure out, or 6 months, depending if you're on UEFA, because the deal, like the two different kind of windows for those things. but then you've got a little while to be able to move numbers around. And, you know, there's only one team that's absolutely mastering the art of moving numbers around, Chelsea. What the hell is going on over there at Chelsea, by the way? The whole thing. Chilwell going to Strasbourg on for 2 years, a 2-year deal to Strasbourg. You know he's going to be back in 6 months. There's another player that just went there 30 days ago and came back, and now he's been loaned out again to an English team. I mean, and by the way, this is why I've been saying to you guys for so long. The most disappointing thing that I heard from Daniel Levy's interview with Gary Neville was when he was asked about multi-club ownership. Because bearing in mind that, you know, we know that Tottenham Hotspur were the ENIC were the sorry, I'm really sick. Were the groundbreakers on multi-club ownership back in the 90s, but we didn't cross the line. The line crossed us, right? They moved the kind of legalities to force Tottenham Hotspur or force ENIC to have to diversify their interest in every club, or at least, pick one basically, and diversify your interest in the rest. And they chose Tottenham. I know that pisses a lot of you off. Doesn't piss me off. I think they've been very good owners overall, which is why I always get annoyed when people who are current day annoyed by Daniel Levy and ENIC, and then you can sort of explain, well, actually, this window was, arguably one of the best windows we've had. Yeah, but it's 25 years. Like, it's settled science that 25 years of ownership has been a failure. It hasn't. Those people are wrong on every single entity, every single iota of a point they're making. 25 years, and they have to go back to 2012 to find an example, or 2008, 2014. Your argument's not very strong if you have to go back 15 years ago to find a relevant and pertinent point. Anyway, those guys chose Tottenham, and they diversified their stake in Rangers and all that stuff, and Slavia Prague, and and Athens and all this. So, long story short, when I heard that Daniel Levy said to Gary Neville, the whole multi-club ownership thing is not sustainable, I took that as he's not interested in getting back into it. But at the very same time, Liverpool have just bought Getafe, their first move into the multi-club ownership model. Why are they doing it? Well, it's for one reason and one reason only, is to replicate what Chelsea are doing at Strasbourg. Because before this year, before maybe the last 24 months, multi-club ownership has been a thorn in the side of most clubs until you get to the 5th or 6th team in the operation. The second team in the operation is a hindrance. It doesn't work. It costs too much. The benefits aren't there. The template isn't built. There's no benefits. There's only costs. Third team. If the second team's been a success, the third team becomes a template. Fourth team, stick it in. Relatively higher efficiencies, economies of scale, relative lower risk, generally speaking. Fifth team, sixth team, it becomes a value add, right? You're finding the best people in the best parts in the weirdest parts of the world. You go, you're brilliant. You're a superstar. Let's take what you've done over there and put it into the senior club. Let's take what we've done in the senior club and put it into the secondary club or the tertiary clubs. All those things materialize at stage 4, 5, 6 and beyond, until Chelsea, with their model of just looking for loopholes, finding them everywhere, and then utilizing them. Well, now you've got Burnley of ALK Capital buying Espanyol, and you've got Getafe that are joining the Liverpool market. This isn't going to. It's a one-way track, and so I don't know how I've even started on this conversation. By the way, we're talking about Tottenham today, but this is what we do on One Take Tottenham. We just go on a random walk. See if you can follow me. Pay attention if you can. I hope you're okay. Smash the like button if you don't mind. Hit the subscribe if you really don't want to. Do it anyway. Do something you didn't want to do today. Take yourself out of your comfort zone. Start by smashing the sub. Let's find out. Anyway, let's see what else is going on. We'll come back to the multi-club ownership stuff. Think Lookman was not the long-term player Frank wanted. Tried to get him cheap as a stopgap. Couldn't. So, I did this one already. No, maybe he just didn't want Lookman. I don't understand it. But this notion like, we could have got Lookman for 40, but we paid 40 for Mathys Tel. That's a narrative that has to be quashed. This is why I'm here, because this narrative has to these people that cherry pick scenarios. This is a fact. That's a fact. Therefore, the fact that these two things exist equals agenda. No, because Mathys Tel, that deal was done. That deal was done in January. The only option on the deal was whether or not Mathys Tel wanted to stay. Of course, he did. So, and back in January, everybody wanted him. Everybody was angry when we thought we were losing out to United. Everybody was gloating when we got them back from United. Every United fan and other fans of other channels were upset with their own clubs for letting Mathys Tel slip through the net and end up at Tottenham. That is a fact. Well, not a fact, because I'm saying every fan. The vast majority of visual channels, visual content creators, Mark Goldbridge, AFTV, Chelsea Fan TV, yada, yada, yada. When he ended up at Tottenham, they were all losing their shit and we were all celebrating. And it was then that the option was agreed. It was then. So to sit there and say we didn't need to spend 35 or 40 on Mathys Tel and we could have spent it on Lookman, it's a load of nonsense. But Lookman would have been a great player anyway. You bring him in, then you can loan out Udogie or sell Udogie or loan out Tel if you have the balls to loan out Harrods Tupperware. Pretty difficult thing to do. But it is what it is. Noti squad. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, James. I don't know what that means, bro. Noti squad. I don't know what NOTI means. Afternoon, Mark. Good afternoon, Sean. We should have got a left wing. Yeah. Should have done. Could have done. I would have been much happier if we had done. I would have done. But I still think this window is brilliant. I've kind of slept on it now. I still feel shit, so my opinion's still a little bit I'm going to come after some people. 7 out of 10 window at best, says James. Listen, it's still a great window, though. 7 out of 10 is still a fantastic window. Still a fantastic window. Name a better window. Name a better window. Got to talk a little bit about, the protests and that. I went on to Spurs 5 on Monday night. I was sitting back because I was the host. I just got the impression that people that want to hate Daniel Levy, that they're like, Connor's fairly middle of the ground, to be fair to him. He's Levy out for sure, but he's at least reasonable. Lubo, Stel, unwilling to give full credit or any credit, saying it was like a 7.5, 8 out of 10 window, but we left ourselves short. Short relative to what? Relative to what expectations? You're never going to have the perfect window. Yes, we could have had another defender coming in. I personally think the biggest gap in the squad is a defender. However, if we can get through the international break unscathed, then by the time we get back in 2 weeks' time, hopefully Kota Takai will be available. And a couple of weeks after that, hopefully Dragusin will be available. It's about getting through the next. We've got a relatively okay run of games until is it November when it starts to really heat up? Chelsea, Arsenal, all that stuff. Excuse me. If we can get one of those players back before then I think we'll be fine. But I also think the Bournemouth game kind of took the shine off everything for a lot of us. I think we were all looking and going, once you've got 3 points from Burnley and 3 points from City, then most of us probably thought we could beat Bournemouth at home. Although quietly they're becoming a bit of a bogey club for us. Then after that it's West Ham and stuff. I think most of us are sitting there thinking we could be, 15 from 15 or 18 from 18 or whatever. You know, the fact that we lost to Bournemouth, it put the dampener, and then out comes because there's nothing like a good old-fashioned meltdown, right? Nothing like a good old-fashioned meltdown. 450 people here on a Wednesday lunchtime in an international week. You love to see it. Please smash the like button for me, guys. Hit the subscribe. That's the come down talking, mate. The come down was Sunday, mate. It's now Wednesday. I picked up a bug, bro. Picked up a bug. Big up, Shawnee says RFS. Big up to you. Get well soon, Kanta. Big up to you, Kanta. Hi, Sean. Big up. Get out of the mud. Who's in the mud? I'm not sure I'm in the mud anymore. I might be in some quicksand. Might be in some quicksand, but mud has its own connotations. I'm not in the mud. I feel like the Levy Owls are in the mud, brah. He's alive, says Double Unskippable. Good to see you. Good to see you too, my man. Good to see you from America. Good up. You're up early. You're up early, mate. It's only 1:30 here. Must be like morning time for you. Good afternoon, says Rain. Sorry you're under the weather. I'm feeling all right about the window, to be honest. How you feeling about your protest, though, Rain? How you feeling about your protest, bro? Listen, I've got that 30-minute video. I've got the 30-minute video, right, of the protest, or if that's what we're going to call it. You know, the people that were just standing by the side of the road. And I decided not to post it. Despite the fact that, Rain, you were great on it. But I didn't want to, like, rub salt in the wounds. I'm not that sort of guy. Because, well, listen, hopefully Billy will come on this week. I had him scheduled in for tonight, but he's caught up with some work stuff. So I might see him tomorrow. But I've got to ask him. I've got to challenge him, man, because, you know, as I said on Monday, like, even though I didn't recognise Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so bad. You know, you got one member of the 10 that's doing our own content or doing someone else's content rather than being at their own protest. You got Jay and Billy didn't make it. And then the only other person I'm aware that's part of that 10 is some guy called Billy Cairns, who's like, you know, an away day goer. He's not exactly, you know, like a personality. He's just standing in the background, sitting on the wall, looking at his phone. You know, before I don't want to bury them. I don't want to destroy it, because I think that protests are right. You know, like protests generally, I've got every like, but they have to explain it, because, as I've always said, the Twitter thing is not the same as real life. I think it's a good window, says Acid. It's just the squad was so far behind before that it doesn't feel like it, because we know we need more. Well, compared to what, though, Acid? Compared to what, mate? This is the thing. What are the expectations of the window? Or what were the expectations of the season? Everybody on Spurs 5, when we asked like a couple of weeks earlier, I said, what were the expectations of this squad? And the answer was like somewhere between the most optimistic 6th and the worst. I think someone said at the bottom end 12th, right? But generally everyone said we expect 6th, 7th, or 8th, something around that. A European, maybe not a Champions League, but like a European sort of campaign. Hopefully we'll be somewhere around there, north side of middle table. And then you go and sign 4 starters, right, for the first team. And they are, by the way, like Polinia, baller. I thought he was terrible against Bournemouth, but I thought everyone was. But I'd like to understand what happened there. Kudus, unbelievable. Xavi Simons is going to be, unless he absolutely just crumbles in the Premier League standard, which I just can't imagine, he's going to be just an absolute game changer, of which other people that are beneficiaries of his output are going to be massive successes. And then you've also got Kyle Mwani, who's better than Solanke, who's obviously out injured, and also Richalison. So like you have options now, because like they're all versatile players, right? So Mwani can play in the 9, and you can shoehorn a Richarlison out to the left if you wanted to, or you can keep Richarlison in the 9 if he stays committed, because unfortunately against Bournemouth he was terrible again. He reverted back to his usual inability to trap a bag of cement. But You could put Xavi Simons on the left-hand side. You can keep Pape Sarr in the 10, and then you've got Kudus on the right. And Pape Sarr's been brilliant for like, 80% of the minutes he's played this season. He's been sensational. So we've got options, and we have got improvements massively. Obviously, injuries are going to be a factor, right? But like, if you're always gonna like naysay on someone's squad because you're only ever one particular injury away from being like back to square one or being vulnerable, same goes for Liverpool. Same goes for Palace. Same goes for Forest. Same goes for Arsenal. Same goes for most of these teams. So, like, if you just look at like the fully fit squad that we have, if everyone's fully fit, it's a very good squad. And we are currently facing some serious injuries. But Kota Takai, I've got no idea what he's like, by the way. But if the club signed him, I think they must think that he's got something about him and that he can cope. Radu Dragusin surely will be great in this particular system with a bit of a lower lying defensive line where he just got focusing on positional set strength, which he's always been good at. Nothing to worry about there. Nothing at all. Let's carry on. Let's see where we're getting to. Shawnee, are you happy with the window? Yeah, I am, yeah. I am happy. I still share the concern about Kolo Muani. For me, the only thing about Kolo Muani is if you can get him motivated, then you're going to see the best version of him. If you can't get him motivated, if he's here under duress because he really wants to go to Juve, then you might see the worst version of him. And as I said, I told you this ages ago, I said that there's two sides to him. He's Jekyll and Hyde. When he's on it, he's unplayable. One of the best of the game. He really is. When he was at Frankfurt, he was sensational. But there's games where he goes missing. Jeff Stelling said exactly the same thing a couple of days ago. It's nice to know that, I'm a poor man's Simon Jordan, is what I've been accused of being. For my takes on the financial side and the overall Daniel Levy take. But if my thoughts are also aligned somewhere near where Jeff Stelling's are, I'll take that. Jeff Stelling, I've got full respect for, and Simon Jordan, same. So I'm very happy. Good to see you, George. Super Cup Legends. Good to see you, mate. Cure for Life says, best window he can remember. Appreciate you. Appreciate that. If everyone was told we'd get Xavi Simons, Kolo Muani, Kudus, Polinia, and make Danso and Tel permanent on top of Spence and Romero extensions, we would all have said impossible. It's an 8.5 out of 10 window. Do you know what, mate? I don't in any way, shape, or form disagree with you, buddy. Disagree with you. Listen, if I'm going to always spend 5 seconds on every single, 10 seconds on every single chat, I will never catch up. So I'm going to jump forward here. Just do a couple of super stickers, though. Dean Law, big up to you, my man. Dean is always here. On the super sticker train. He's always getting that super sticker train commenced. Love to see you, Deanie. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you very much. And Ulrika, big up to you. Jeff Stelling rated Spurs window best of all the Premier League clubs. Spurs fans unhappy, though. Agendas have to agend. Ulrika, you're absolutely spot on, mate. You're absolutely spot on this. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. And listen, I was sort of, I don't know how to say this. Was I caught up in it on Monday? If you give me the choice of Erling of Kolo Muani or Lookman, I would have taken Lookman, 100%. But then when the injury to Solanke happened, I think you have to pivot and you have to find someone that can play in the 9. And Muani can play off the left or in the 9 better than Lookman can play in the 9. 1 second. Yeah, so it's Bugsy's looking at me. She's coming. But every time I stop talking on my channel, Bugsy sits outside my room, and every time I kind of pause with the chat, she comes in for a little stretch and to look at me and to remind me that she's right here. She comes to look at me like, I'm ready to go out when you want. I'll be taking you out in a minute, girl. Does Helga count as a signing? We'll find out what happens with Helga, won't we? I'm this close to booking. I'm also looking to book my flights to Monaco as well right now. I don't have tickets to either of those games, but we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Appreciate the super chats and super stickers, by the way. Hi, Sean. Do you think your chairman will go back in for Savinho in January? Jashrab, I take it that he's not your chairman, even though he's given us the best window ever, even though everyone wanted to see him show some ambition, stop signing young players, buy some ready-made players. Hasn't he done that? I think he's done very well. I think everyone needs to give him a little bit of a breather here. He's not responsible for the injuries that happened. He's not responsible for what happened against Bournemouth. That's on the manager. That's on the players. What he's done is provided us with 4 players who immediately improve us, and we need to respect that. Needed cover for the defence. Yeah. Of course. But we have got cover coming back. So it's all about like the risk, isn't it? You know? Like Arnie Slot said, you can't buy. I mean, I've said this to you guys for years. You can't have 5 players for one position just in case. Bugsy Malone has just seen a pigeon has just landed on my windowsill, and Bugsy's just jumped straight up. Oh, what you doing? It's my house. You can't have 5 people in one position just on the off chance that 4 get injured, right? So you have to shake hands with the reality that at times you're going to have multiple injuries to multiple players in the same position, and hopefully they're not all for a serious amount of time. That's just the game. It is what it is, and maybe that's where some of the kind of, I guess the way that we should reflect on Ange Postecoglou should be highlighted, because he did have to suffer those consequences quite a lot. But then you have to ask the question why. And I think some people would say it's because of his particular style of training and particular style of football. I think it was a very good window, not a great window, but very good. Signing a left winger made it a 10 out of 10. Never going to have a perfect window, mate. But I appreciate you. I think we're all good, though. It's a good window in terms of upgrading our midfield and attack. Hi, Sean. We're doing it. Needed cover for the defence. Done this one already. Can't wait to see Kulu in the 10. Simmons on the left. Yeah, I think that's also a bit of a problem, isn't it, Maisie? Right, so you've lost Kulu and Maddison in the same summer. Well, you lost Kulu earlier in the summer, but then in the summer you've had an extension to that injury. I think people were suggesting that Kulu will be back by about October. Now he's not going to be back until So basically, the injuries that have happened, like people are already talking. You can see it in the zeitgeist, by the way. People are already talking about Arsenal's injury crisis, because for the first time in years, they've actually had a couple of early injuries to big players that are keeping them out. And their fans are suddenly using that as an excuse, but we're telling everybody else to get over it and to cry harder when they had injuries. Tottenham have had injuries. Tottenham's injury problems have been extensions of the injuries that we finished with last year. And so, it is what it is. It is what it is. Everyone's got to go through it. So we've all got to cry together. Was crying out for Grealish, and now look at him flying at Everton. Well, let's just wait and see about that one. It's 3 days. It's 3 games. He has been good. No doubt about it. A lot of people are moving their argument on that one. I was having conversations earlier. People. I remember people saying, "I don't want Grealish. He's deadwood. He at best I'll take him as a loan, but he is a party boy." Now spinning the story into saying, "No, I always wanted him on a loan." That wasn't what I heard them say. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Sean, what's your best starting 11, including Kulu? My best starting 11 is Jed Spence at left back. It's Van der Ven. It's Romero. It's Porro. It's Vicario. It's Palhinha. It would be Palhinha, Bentancur, and including Kulu, left wing, Xavi Simons, right wing, Kudus, and in the 9, Moani. But that's subject to change, though, because at certain points, I think a back 5 is better. Like against Bournemouth, I think the back 5 would have been much better. It took me 3 minutes to figure that shit out. And it should have taken Cochrane and Thomas Frank about 30 seconds to realise that they were in for a long afternoon. ITK saying you're feeling under the weather because you got smashed at the weekend. I'm not sure what that means, but when someone says ITKs, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah! Come on, yeah! Sources, everyone has a source. They're never right, but we'll share them, of course. I know a guy who knows all the discourse. Content's got a content, and trust me, bro, is my source.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. I do see what you're saying. saying that I'm feeling under the weather because I got smashed at the weekend. I 100% got smashed at the weekend. Saturday was an absolute bruiser of a day. And Sunday, I was in pieces. But Monday, I got myself back on it. Not back on it, and then back on into reality. And then I woke up Tuesday morning. I've now got like golf balls in my neck and things. So, yeah, fantasy mutt McShane 91. Listen, I don't think you need 9116 at the end of that, unless there's a very weird amount of Google accounts. I can't believe that there's too many more fantasy mutt McShanes out there. You could have just picked the first one rather than 9116 version of it. I was absolutely smashed on the weekend. Yeah, that's the game. That's the game. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm single, I have no responsibilities, and I wasn't driving. I got the train up, and rat-a-ta-ta, it became a late one. And that's how we do it. That's how I roll. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. This Spurs talk show isn't getting handed down to anyone. At some point in the next, 10 months, 10 years, or 10 something else, I won't be around anymore. And that's okay. That's okay too, because I'm someone that's shaking hands with my reality. Feels like the transfer team has grown up a bit, walking away from deals that aren't right, like Hincapie and Lookman. Frank's influence, says Rain. You're not willing to give any credibility to the growth of our ownership, are you, Rain? You're just not. You're not willing to do it, are you? It's always got to be someone else. Fascinating insight into the minds of people with agendas. Just wondering, would anyone take Delhi back? No, absolutely not. No chance. Enoch are like Wenger. Good for the first 10 years. Last 10, not so much. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. We won a European Cup about 12 months ago. Not even that. About 3 months ago. We're doing all right. We're doing okay. It's just people that have got like this idea in their mind, because no one wants to be wrong. No one wants to be wrong, bro. You have to understand, right? You have park yourself into the zeitgeist. Take yourself away from however you feel for a second on any topic. And I do this all the time. I'm guilty of the same thing, right? I'm guilty of exactly the same thing. When Tottenham are about to sign someone, I press record, my chairman, because I've been getting hate for the last couple of years from people that call me an absolute bozo for having the audacity to think that our chairman isn't anything other than a cancer and a parasite. No one wants to be wrong, because in the human nature, just think about this. Think about this. Let's go a bit of a philosophical rant here for a second, right? What's happened in the last sort of 5 years of society in general, outside of football? You've got people of color that dye their skin white, or that bleach their skin a little bit lighter, because they want to be more like something that they're not. You've got white women who put their lips bigger and put shit in their ass to make themselves look a little bit more like something else. You have older people that do Botox to make themselves look younger. You have, on the extremes of all of that stuff, you have people that are willing to, change their gender, because no one's happy with who they are. Everyone is caught up in some weird notion that the world is right, that you shouldn't be happy with who you are. You should always want more. Instagram mentality. Look at my mate who's putting his holiday highlight reel up. He doesn't put a picture up of him at work. He doesn't put a picture up of him cleaning his baby's mess or any of that shit. Everyone just consumes content that tells them that they're not good enough, and that they would be happier if they're someone else. The best thing that the world can ever figure out is that happiness is not a destination. It's a moment. Contentment is the best thing that you can have. But unfortunately, we are also egos. We are egos. That's why everyone says, I don't want to be who I am, but you better accept me for who I think I am. Like this, it's a duality. It's a duality that's pushed down our throat. It's the same in football. It's the same in sociology. It's the same in psychology. You are taught from this social media bullshit that your opinion about yourself needs to change. You should be accepted. You should be expected to conform to other people's opinions of you, It's a load of bollocks. And unfortunately, egos are going to ego because that is the human condition. So you're not happy with who you are. You're taught not to be, but that's why people get attached to opinions. And it's the last thing you should do. No one should be attached to the opinion of Daniel Levy. It doesn't define you. It doesn't define you. No one should be, you shouldn't attach yourself to your opinion of Tottenham Hotspur. You are not a winner in life because you have unreasonable expectations of things that are outside of your control. You're a winner in life if you make the most of what you've done, what you have, and you've turned that into a success story. That's what makes you a winner, not because you demand better things from things that you have absolutely no control of the outcome of. And yet, that's not the way that social media works. And because you've got an ego, everyone, not you personally, anyone, because everyone's got an ego, that's the way it works, right? Everyone then gets attached to stupid fucking things. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let's find out what else is going on. Craig, first guy to say no to Levy before he signed him. Conte tried, but Levy just signed shit. Anyway, but I'm sure Frank thought he was getting a left wing and centre-back more. Not sure what that's even about. Appreciate you, mate. I know you're out in Thailand having a good time. I think you had a good weekend as well, didn't you, Kicks? I think you told me on a previous show you were out all weekend. I can only imagine what that's like in Thailand. Let me tell me about it. DM me. I think Kane will come back for next season only if we qualify for the Champions League. And there's rumours out there that we might be able to get him in January, right? It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I'd take him in a heartbeat because that guy gets old gracefully, bro. He's not worried about putting Botox on his footballing career, is he? You don't need to. He's the guy that's drunk and eating healthily and avoiding any bad luck. He'll live to 100 in footballing terms. Isn't it funny how so many top clubs, including ourselves, have strengthened and failed to get the one person these clubs need? Us, an excellent midfielder, passer like a Morgan White. Liverpool didn't get a centre-back. Rome wasn't built in a day, though, mate. Like, this is the thing, Charles Ingram, right? Like, what are the expectations at Tottenham this year? I just think that Rome wasn't built in a day. We were never going to improve to the point where we had a better squad than Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, or City. Never, ever, ever, ever. So, like, have we improved relative to Newcastle? Yeah. Have we improved relative to Villa? Yep. Have we improved relative to Palace, to Forest? I think so. I think Forest are about to lose their manager. And then they have to go again. You know, they're caught in limbo right now where the manager doesn't see eye to eye with the owner, where he doesn't know whether he's going to be out of a job tomorrow. All that shit is just bad energy. Bad energy. But there's so many fucking comments. I'm going to scoot forward to the top. Let's scoot forward. Let's jump forward. Let's jump forward a little bit. What are we saying then? Sean's speeches are like Big Angie's, says Mate Venture. I'm not trying to be. Top man, Sean. Spotter, Sean. Yeah, no, I'm just saying. There's a guy on YouTube called Jacob Whelan. Go watch his content, Sean. Very, very relatable, my man. Yeah, look. The world is teaching you to never be happy. But you can't be happy. You can be happy in a moment, right? You can be happy in a moment where you share it with your child or your mum or your grandpa or your wife or your husband or whatever else. You can have all those things in moments, but happiness is not a place. Contentment is what you should aspire to be, which is grateful. Grateful for what you have, recognition of what you don't, but you won't likely have. Also understanding that the world works in a like a properly shit way. But in football terms, you might even appreciate that about yourself. But when it comes to like that relationship with your football club, you should have the same thing. Respect where you're at. And also recognize that, like, if you're someone that sits there and says, it's a disgrace, like these Arsenal fans, like this kind of like this it's not just Arsenal fans, it's everybody, by the way. But like I always see Arsenal fans that are so unhappy, they're so fucking miserable that they finished second for 5 years running. What the fuck have you got to be miserable about? It's not your trophy. It's not your title. You're an irrelevant observer of other people's success. That's all you are. Grand scheme of things, like legit, real talk. Like you shouldn't lose sleep about Tottenham Hotspur. You shouldn't. It's crazy. Do you think that Mathys Tel gives a flying fuck? Or Thomas Frank? Do you think they care about how angry you get about their decisions or how happy you are with their tactical nous? They don't care. They're doing their job. You can't control things that are outside of your control. Serenity prayer, my people. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the strength to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Get on board it, guys. Get on board it. You'll be happier. Or you'll be closer to contentment. Talking about happy, I need to stop vaping when I'm sick. That's terrible. You know? Anyway, where did we get to? A couple of super chats. The super chat's been done. But how do we feel about the window? How do we feel? Let's talk about this for a second, right? I'm not going to be going for too much. I just wanted to pop up and show my face because I haven't seen you for a couple of days. Enjoy the highs, yeah? Enjoy the highs. Control the controllables. Love this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at these motherfuckers. All of you you're on my wavelength. You are on my wavelength. We need to. I'm going to get myself out on the conspiracy network. Let's do some Sean Butler TV conspiracy stuff, yeah? Because we got to talk about Satanism. We got to talk about Satanists. We got to talk about the big eye in the sky, which is Saturn. We got to talk about the moon being fake as fuck. We got to talk about that. Sean Butler TV is coming back with some absolute bombers of the highest order. When I'm talking about the highest order, I'm talking about the New World Order. You know? Yeah, but leave the chairman thing alone, though. Sam is me. He's not my chairman. He's just a guy. I don't give a shit. He don't care about me. I don't care about him. But I get sucked into it as well. That's what I'm saying. When I say that's what I said at the start. When I come on the show saying my chairman, I'm only saying that because of the heat I get when he's fucked up and everyone decides to access me because they can't access him. So they target me on Twitter, right? The people wishing that my dog got run over by a bus. Bugsy Malone, you want to go after Bugsy? Fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? Sending me death threats? I don't care. I'm not like the amount of times I've seen people on Twitter come up, say nasty things to me in DMs, and then they come up to me on the street outside the stadium, you know, and they ask for a selfie. It's not a real world, mate. It's not the real world. The real world is people that are struggling to pay their bills. The real world is that, you know, people that are, I don't know, people that do work hard enough to earn a living that get 40%, 30%. Every pound you earn, you know, 30% of your money goes on taxes to pay for people that want to come in and take advantage of the system or to pay to defense companies to go and fight wars that none of us are interested in fighting. You know, fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck them. That's the real problem. Football should be an escape from that shit. But if it's an escape, you should enjoy it when it's good. And you should go, okay, fair enough, and walk away from it when it's bad. Anyway, I'm getting well off the topic here. This all of my. I'm absolutely like doped up right now on Lemsip, so it's probably like affecting. It's probably affecting me. It's affecting me in bad ways, man. Shouldn't be streaming right now, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The moon is definitely not fake, no Trop. Well, I'm not saying it's fake. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I'm saying it might not be the thing that people have told us that it is. We can talk about that on Sean Butler TV. You know? What's Gold K saying? Mr. Sean Butler, hope you are good, bro. So based on the window. Where do you think we will be in January? League and Champions League. And in January, do you think we will still be in the domestic cups? So the Champions League, I think we'll do okay. Now, listen, As always, though, injuries affect everything. But if you were to sit there and say you had a reasonable amount of injuries, like a reasonable amount of injuries to me, I think we've already lost, 2 or 3 of our first teamers to long-term injuries anyway. So you'd hope that we'd get lucky in that regard with the rest, but you never know. But if you were to lose a couple of players here and there for a couple of weeks, I think we've got an adequate cover to get the job done against our Champions League. I genuinely think that we can qualify out of the Champions League group in the top 8. I genuinely do think we can do that. The only game that I'm worried about in terms of where I think we're going to get beaten heavily or convincingly is PSG away. I think we can take on Monaco. I think we can get a result against Monaco. I think we can get a result at Frankfurt. I think we can get a result at Bodo. I'm going to go to both of those games. I'm not going to go to Frankfurt, but I'm going to go to Monaco, and I'm going to go to Bodo again. And obviously, I'll be at all the home games. And I think the home games have been really, really fortunate. There's no reason why we can't be. Dortmund have had their team decimated. Dortmund are nothing like the team they used to be. And the rest of them, there's no reason. I genuinely think we can win all 4 of our home games, and I think we can win 2 of our away games, and that will give us 18 points. So, no problem. We've got Doncaster in the League Cup next. Obviously, after that, you don't know. We should be able to beat Doncaster at home. After that, don't know what we're going to get. But if you get lucky, we should be okay. And the FA Cup doesn't start until January, so I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be absolutely fine. But that's relative to my expectations, buddy. My expectations are, when people say it's not a perfect window, I'm like, okay, of course it isn't perfect. Nothing's perfect. But what would be a perfect window? Would a perfect window, if you signed Hincapie and you had to pay the money up front, you had to pay all 60 million, whatever it was up front in one go, and he wanted to come. But did he want to come? Apparently he didn't want to come, right? So, do you want players? And this is where I extend this argument. Like, he didn't want to come, so we walked away from it. And then I believe that we played PR protection policies where we sat there and went, let's just dial this down. Ali Gold, John Cross from the Mirror. There's absolutely nothing. We haven't made an inquiry, all that bollocks, right? That to me was like, we probably did. And the answer was probably negative. And in the context of the environment, the ridiculous outrage on Twitter, I wish that Tottenham Hotspur's social admin stopped looking at Twitter, because it clearly has absolutely no bearing on reality. Nobody on Twitter shows up to when that Jay or Billy T or Chain, whoever it is that's writing the tweets, when they put out a tweet saying we're going to be there against Burnley, and then 15 people turn up, and then the Jay guy says we showed up, and then 1,000 people like the tweet. Right? My question is, you're all liking the tweet. A lot of you would have been going to the game, but none of you were at the protest. And against Bournemouth, the same. But I've got to be honest. Personally, I think change for Tottenham is it's on life support. It's on life support because it's for right now. It's like a social movement in a world where everyone wants to be negative anyway. And I'm going to have this conversation with Billy, hopefully tomorrow. How many were at the protest? Bro, I could show you a 30-minute video, man. I got there at 1:55, and I recorded. There's Rain, who's in the house watching this right now. He's right there. There he is. Rain was there. Big up to you, Rain. And you're very, very nice. You're a very nice guy, mate. Very nice to talk to. And by the way, Rain, I feel like your question to me, will you be at the next protest, rattled me. I thought you were very good on the interview. I watched it back. I think you were great. I personally, if I'm entirely honest, Rain, I didn't think I was very good. I spoke to Phil P about this, right? So Phil P and his dad I never remember Phil P's dad's name, but Mr. Pinney, the kind of senior Pinney. I spoke to Phil P about this on the phone. I watched it back, and I felt like I was like a little bit. I wasn't journalistic in my approach. I was more like, I'm going to challenge. I'm going to, be a bit of a donut or whatever. I said I'm not going to put it out. No, there's no point now. There's just no point in putting it out. It's not going to do anything. But like either way, I thought you were very good, Rain. There was another guy that was there though that was a bit of a donut, and you guys ended up having an argument. And Lubo was there, and it was I was antagonistic. It's the right word, yeah. But if the leaders can't be bothered to turn up, then there we go. Perfect. Yeah. If the leaders can't bother to turn up, then what's the point? Well, apparently, one of the leaders, I don't know her, Christina, I don't know her, but someone sent me a picture of Christina doing something at the stadium. Like, you're supposed to represent the fucking movement. Like, at least have the fucking stones to turn up, man. Like, what are we doing here? It's madness. I'm not sure. No, I didn't see Billy there. Didn't see Billy. I don't know who Jay is. All I know is that someone called me out on Twitter. Someone who doesn't like me called me out on Twitter after the Burnley one, and Jay retweeted it. He obviously has a problem with me, but a lot of people have a problem with me. That's fine. But yeah, it's a strange one. It's a real strange one. Don't make me get the defibrillator out, Sean. I think that this my whole point is like that Twitter isn't real, right? It's not real. It clearly isn't real. Instagram isn't real, right? Instagram is full of people that just want to tell you that that they're happy and that they're successful and that they're enjoying life, but they're not, because the only pictures that they put up are the ones of themselves in their highlight reels, right? It's bollocks. And that's what leads to like this weird situation that we're in. Like I say, like where you have kids, impressionable kids that are like, doing everything they can to be the entire opposite of what they are. Because the world via social media has told them that you're not right. You're not good enough. Everybody else is living a happier life than you. So switch up. And then you've got black people that dye themselves white. You've got white people that make themselves look black. You've got old people that make themselves look young. And then on the extreme of all that shit, you have people that make themselves look like the opposite gender. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. And in football, it's exactly the same. You're taught to think that because Arsenal or because Liverpool buy fucking 1,000 people, because Liverpool spend 500 million quid, that you've had a failed window unless you've done the same. It's bollocks. It's a load of bollocks. Like, you got to step away from that mindset. You have to appreciate what you have, not resent what you don't. You can want more. I'm not saying ambition is a dirty word, but don't get sucked into this world because everybody tells you that you're shit, that therefore you're shit. No, they're telling you they're shit. They're telling you that you're shit because they want you to feel like misery loves company. The people that tell you that you're not enough, they believe that they're not enough, and they push down, they punch down. And it's the same in football. It's just another ecosystem of the same toxic poison that exists in life. Pull the ladder up and fuck the rest. That's it. That's it. So steer clear of it. Steer clear of it. Steer clear of it. Sorry if it's getting weird for you sloppy Jack Spurs, mate, but occasionally in life, like we're in the middle of an international break, bro. It's Wednesday. We've got 10 days before we can go anywhere. I'm just having a chinwag with my crew, Sean been watching the Y-Files. What's that? Is that good? Should I be watching the Y-Files? I'm kidding. I know what the Y-Files are. Conspiracy theories, man. We love conspiracy theories. We love conspiracy theories. Yeah. Hang on, are we saying here? New manager, multiple formations, a few players to add a spark. Not the worst window. Do you know what, the Bears cave? You absolutely bang on, my man. Absolutely bang on. A couple more super chats. Daniel Hoosen. Big up to you, mate, from deepest, darkest Peru. I hope that the Peruvian zeitgeist is more popular or more enjoyable than ours. Thank you very much for the super sticker, my man. Choo choo to you. Choo choo to you. And also, a user says Windows like having the cake but missing the cherry. Let's have a look at this, right? Let's have a look at this for a second. Appreciate you, by the way. Appreciate you, by the way. Where am I at? Here you go. So I got this this sticker overlay, right? So transfer market believes Tottenham have got an A- window, 8 new players. Only Arsenal. I mean, they're suggesting that Arsenal and Tottenham have had the same window in terms of grading. That Sunderland had an A and Liverpool had an A. And this is so subjective, right? It's so subjective because Liverpool have left themselves short relative to their own expectations. Like Liverpool are one injury away at the back from being ripped apart. And I think if they don't have that injury, then they've got an unbelievable attacking lineup. But Tottenham, you can make the argument Tottenham's exactly the same. Our attack, everyone said last season that it was Tottenham's attack that was shit. And this summer, we've gone after our attack and we've improved it no end. All right, let's sort of dwell on that for a split second, right? Everybody said last season that our attack was the worst thing in our squad. Everything else wasn't perfect, but it was it was good enough. So the club have gone out and improved on our attacking line no end. Now, at the same time, you're now dabbling with an injury to Maddison and an injury to Solanke that you can't predict these things. So that obviously takes a little bit of the shine off. But Solanke's injury happened 36 hours before the window closed. You know? So, like, to me, I just think that we've done very well in improving the weakest area in our squad. And I genuinely think our window's been very, very impressive. Very impressive. The moon is flat, says Eamon. Eamon. Maybe, mate. Maybe. Sean, stop it. No one is comparing us to Liverpool. All I wanted was to sort out our left winger. And guess what? We didn't do it. When you say no one is comparing us to Liverpool, and then you then put the second half of that sentence about you, this is a problem as well. No disrespect, mate, but I'm going to call you out on the consistency of the language that you're using there. No one is comparing us to Liverpool. All I wanted was to sort out our left side. You don't know what other people were comparing us to. All you might have wanted was a sort. I agree with you, by the way. Our left side was problematic, but also we have spent 70 million quid on 2 players that the club thought were going to be ballers, and we haven't really given them a lot of opportunity. Right, we're 3 games into this season under a new manager. Let's wait and see what Udogie can do. Let's wait and see what Mathys Tel can do. You might not be happy with them. A lot of people aren't happy with them. A lot of people are not happy with the fact that Udogie we signed last summer. But let's not forget that 8 months of last summer, Udogie was out injured. We don't really know what we haven't got a fucking clue what Udogie is capable of, if we're entirely honest. Like when he finally gets back to full steam ahead, he's essentially a new signing because he was playing in a system last year that had deprioritized the Premier League. So, and he wasn't playing in the Europa League. Mathys Tel, again, I think he'll become a great player. I do. I'm not going to change my opinion on that because of 3 games. But again, he was under a different system last year. Let's wait and see. Everyone seems to want to believe that Thomas Frank is a great coach. Yet we're giving the players that clearly have potential none of the runway to allow that coaching to take place. And it's only been a couple of games. Let's find out. But when you say stop it, no one is comparing us to Liverpool. People are. You might not be, but a lot of people are. But all I'm saying is let's figure out where and how we're supposed to feel about what Tottenham's expectations are. And if your expectation was to finish somewhere between 6th and 8th, We were never going to close the gap on the top 4 anyway this summer. It was never going to happen. We were never going to be able to put on a title challenge. So if everyone can get behind this idea that it's a 7.5 window, then to me, it's one of the best windows we've ever had, if not the best window we've ever had, on the back of just winning a Europa League. And we've got loads of money left over, fucking loads of money left over for January or for next summer. So let's hope we get lucky with some signings. Let's hope we can get lucky with some injuries, and let's hope that we can do bits. But the expectations still need to be what they were before. People move the goalposts very, very quickly because they want to continue the agendas. And the agendas, as the tone of this theme has been, the theme of this show has been, for me, agendas are predicated on egos, and egos are influenced by narratives, and narratives start in some weird social zeitgeist that doesn't exist in real life. So my advice to everybody would be to chill out wondering or worrying what other people think about your opinions, because you don't know them. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what lives they lead or what problems they have, and whether or not they might be just like telling you you're a donut if you don't agree with me because they're really unhappy about whatever it is that they're going through. I've learned to deal with this. I promise you, of the 650 people that are here and the thousands of messages, I've bumped into a few people in real life that just have names on the comments. They just have names, right? And they used to go after me all the time. And at the start of my 4-year journey into social stuff on YouTube, these people used to upset me. And then I met them. And then I realized why was... Holy shit, a bird just flew into my window. A bird just... Fucking poor thing. A bird just flew straight into my window and then flew off. I hope his beak's okay. That's crazy. That is crazy. No such word as agenda, Sean. What do you mean? What does that even mean? Are there multiple genders, Sean? No, there's not. Well, there's multiple as in more than one. But yeah. Are you all good, Sean? I think that bird was trying to distract you from the internet, but PS. I'm just having a chat with you guys. Just having a chat. We're going for an hour, though. Not a lot to talk about. So, yeah, for me, the window was I'm going to call it a 7 out of 10. I'm going to call it a 7 out of 10. I might be back this evening. Just wanted to come and catch up with you guys. And I will leave it there. The plural is agenda. What's that mean? Sean being attacked by a bird. Richie the Pidge. I met Richie. Have you seen the video? I met Richie. on the highway, on the high road. That was fucking hilarious. Three kids. Some dad asked me to interview his 3 kids, or a dad of 1 or 2 of them at least. Asked me to interview them, so I interviewed them, and then they were kind of a little bit like not interested, but they answered very well. And then as soon as Richie went past, they that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I went over, I pulled out. I'm like, "What are we doing here? If they're going to go over, I'm going to go over." Absolutely sensational. Yeah, he didn't look happy, did he? Didn't look happy at all. He's always a moody little git, though, isn't he? Always a moody little git. Yeah. Anyway, guys, appreciate you all. Thanks for coming on, and I'll see you later on. If there's something, I mean, there's not going to be any news for a while, is there? But we'll do a little chinwag. Maybe we'll do some conspiracy stuff over on Sean Butler TV. Keep a lookout for that. Appreciate you all, guys. Love to you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, guys,